The pressure they can give you, don't get green hair, you go get. So your best bet is not to have hair.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. Good morning. It's Wednesday. And today is a special day for me as well. You know, Wednesdays are my special days. It's a special day for the president as well. He was born on Wednesday. We are not Kweku Frimpong, by the way. We have not traveled. But this morning, I want to touch quickly on a subject before I get to the controversial BBC conversation that Peter Okoche had with our president. And some have said that, well, Peter Okoche perhaps need to be banned from interviewing our president because he always brings some matter. I don't know if it's a Kweku too, but we will get to that conversation. But the matter about the SHS placements, we are told that for first years, the double track system had been abolished. We are not able to say whether it's been abolished completely for everybody, but there still are some youngsters who are first years, and by Friday, the thing will be closed, and they are still stranded. And there have been wild allegations about people paying monies, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 3,000 to get their children placed, even people who are legitimately qualified to get into those schools. So the question I'm asking this morning is, if really there's extra space, if really we have abolished the double track system, if really we have all the infrastructure in place, if really we have the furniture in place, if really we have the teachers at hand, why has it become difficult for people to have to even go through this mess? And we've been running the system for more than 10 years. It doesn't make any kind of sense, and no kind of explanation will help. That your child is done with JHS, your child has to get into secondary school because your child has to continue their education, and your child has to go through all that stress before they get to school. And by the time they get into school, they're already stressed. They are totally stressed. The textbooks are not available for them. The teachers do not have enough time because of the double track. It shortens the period. And now we are still stressing the youngsters. And that's where my problem is, because we claim that we have guidance and counseling units in the schools, but we all know what skeletons they are. Why we are trying to explain and explain and explain and explain all the problems, and we are not fixing the problems, is a big problem for all of us. That after more than 10 years of running a system, we still have a situation where parents this morning, parents will have to stress, leave man hours, sometimes even pay bribes, as they say, and it's not being denied, just to look for space for their children to go to school. What crime did the children commit? What crime did they commit? That in the country in the 21st century, where we say education is paramount, where we make a lot of noise about education and we put all manner of tax on it, we still have children with their parents who have to struggle to go to school now. Why? Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we do that to our children? Why do we do that? Why? Play some of the visuals of the frustrated students for our viewers to watch. The kind of frustration that they go through. Roland has been looking at it. Judith has been looking at it. Ibrahim Abubakar has been looking at it. The kind of frustration that the children go through with their parents. And if you're a parent and you have work to do, you would have to excuse yourself from it, sometimes for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, maybe 5 days, just trying to secure a small place for your child to go to school. Is it a crime to be educated in Ghana? And our president is the co-chair of the UN SDG. Go4 says education is a must. This is it. This is what we have. Parents they are struggling to get their children to school. They are spending man hours. They're spending all the man hours that they can find. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we do this to ourselves? And every single year, this matter happens. Every single year, year on year, we have IT experts in this country. We have consultants. We have whatever it is, and year on year, we have this situation. Why? I'm sure we can do better. Because when you hear some of the frustrations that some of the parents have had to cough out money to bribe people to swap for them. Why? Why are we so corrupt as a people? Now, yesterday, the ride-hailing services, Uber, Bolt, Yango, all of those ones, they are threatening. And I've had occasion to have reading in most of those, rights. And you hear their frustration, and sometimes you are not too happy about it. But I'll talk about two things quickly before we get to BBC shortly. They are providing a job or jobs for our young people. And most of the drivers on these apps are young people who are trying to make ends meet. Some of them are driving not because they want to be drivers. Some of them are driving because they can't find jobs. Some of them are driving because the banks won't give them finance to support their initiatives and their ideas that they have. So some of them are driving. Forget about the disrespect that some of the riders give to them, but they are raising critical questions. And in recent time, we know how some of them have been attacked, some have been killed, some have been shot, some have been marked and nicked. We know some of them have been attacked with knives and all of that. We know. So now they are asking that, look, if, for example, Johnnie books a ride and he can see the identity of the driver, Johnnie's identity should also be made known to this individual who is coming to pick the person up. Johnnie's destination right from the get-go should be made available to this individual. All of those nuances, plus if you are giving bonus or whatever it is, should be made known to them. How difficult is that? And you see, whether we like it or not, our government gets money from some of these things, which is what would dovetail into the next conversation about what our president said at the BBC. Danny, play that video, the e-levy conversation with Peter Okoche of the BBC, what our president said. Play that interview for me, a bit of it. A bit of that interview for me that has taken the world by storm. Everybody is talking about it, and everybody is trying to understand what exactly the president was trying to mean on that big platform. And guess what? On that occasion, the president didn't take his white chair. Did you notice that the president didn't take his white chair to the BBC for that interview? He didn't take his white chair, which means that it is possible not to carry that chair around wherever the president goes. And I've told you the past how that chair is in a V8, air-conditioned, bodyguarded, driven. It's part of the convoy. The president didn't take that chair. Some say it's a magical chair, some say it's a royal chair, some say it's a princely chair, some say it's a whatever chair. I don't care what it is. I'm saying that on this occasion, on such an auspicious occasion at the BBC, the president of the republic did not take that white chair to the BBC interview, which means, and he spoke, which means that chair should not be following the president everywhere he goes. If we really are concerned about protecting the public purse and cutting the waste, that chair will not be following the president. So Danny, play for me that video of the BBC interview quickly, and then let's get into the issues. The BBC interview that Peter Okoche had, the president had to talk about. Yes.
I mean, let's just be honest. It's doing terribly.
Not terribly.
Well, inflation in your country, inflation in Ghana.
I don't know the economy in the world that's doing well.
Well, inflation in Ghana. Inflation in Ghana.
The highest inflation.
Well, 15.7%.
Yeah.
The Ghanaian cedi has fallen 20% on the dollar. The worst after Russia, which has a lot of sanctions against it.
It's began to firm up. It has begun to firm up, and we're seeing the cedi systematically appreciating against the dollar.
People still can't employ. I was just reading today. People in the hospitality industry that you're pushing so hard.
Right.
Having to lay their staff off. We've got taxi driver unions threatening strikes because of spiraling fuel costs.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't look like a place that I want to go and put my money.
Where will you put your money in the world today? Where will you put your money? In Britain, which is suffering the worst standard of living statistics for over 30 years? Let's situate ourselves correctly. The world is going through very difficult times. Ghana is no exception. Nigeria is no exception. There's no country in the world that is escaping the ravages of both COVID-19 and also the impact of the Ukraine. But what you need to look at are where are the the elements being put on the ground that look beyond.
Well, that was our president before Mr. Peter Okoche. Maybe we should ban Peter from interviewing our presidents. Because that interview, if you ask me, as an interviewer, the president was not the best of himself representing us. That's my opinion, as somebody who interviews people as well. And I must say that the president perhaps was not too ready for this interview. You know why? The president was not ready for this interview because if you are a footballer, you like to play football, your daily rehearsals or your daily training at the Munchendi and Monday Stars and all those ones will prepare you for the bigger gig. The president has refused to meet the press since 2019. The last time the president met us was in 2019, was the 20th of December, 2019. Since then, COVID was used as an example for 2020. What happened in 2021? What happened in 2022? The president has not met the press. And you see, it is okay to go to friendly media who will ask you all the soft questions. But on the local turf, it is okay to go to critical media, even if you think they are not on your side, they are against you, to ask you the tough questions to prepare you for these stages. So now what? Peter Okoche is also an NDC communicator. He's an NDC hireling. Is that the case? Is Peter Okoche an NDC hireling? Is he? The questions that were asked of him, which the president described as provocative. You are being asked to be accountable, and you say you are being provoked. That was a question of accountability, Mr. President. The same things we have been asking of you, questions of accountability, Mr. President. Your economy is terrible. You flatly denied it. Okay, so what are the metrics we are looking at? That is all. But you can't quote one set of statistics to run an analysis. You must have two sets to be able to measure, do a comparative analysis. It's basic, Mr. President. Play that part on the e-levy for me.
The digital economy, the mobile economy.
Yes, but you're taxing people on money that has already been taxed.
Is the biggest economy in the is emerging as the biggest economy in the country, and for a long period has not had any taxation at all. So it is important now that they also come into the net, the ECOWAS area, the general average today, tax to GDP average is about 18%. Ghana, we're at 13%. So it's as if you're talking about a country which is already overtaxed, if anything at all, is undertaxed.
Okay. Mr. President, our digital economy is not an industry. Whoever put that down for you as part of your speaking notes got you wrong. And Mr. President, it was most misleading and false for you to have suggested that the digital space has not been taxed. And you see what I was talking about? I was talking about this because if Mr. Peter Okoche, for example, had been a Ghanaian journalist who had followed the issues locally, and it is no fault of his, who had followed the issues locally, who knew about the nuances here, he would have been able to stop you in your tracks to tell you that, Mr. President, what you're saying that for a long time the digital space had not been taxed is not true. And I'll demonstrate it to you. Now, taxes and charges within the telecom sector. Corporate tax. All our MNOs, telcos, they pay corporate tax, 25% of the bulk that they make. That is taxation. So you cannot say, Mr. President, that the space has not been taxed. Has never been. It is false. Don't say that again. Anywhere again, Mr. President. Don't go and say that again. Now, this is corporate tax, profit from the companies. Government gets that one up front. Then there's the communication service tax. 5% of it. You remember, you pushed it, it was 6%, you pushed it to 9, brought it back to 5 after the telco started deducting upfront. And that is a fact. Now, you told us that you're going to use the communication service tax to create jobs for young people, the same reasons you are assigning to the e-levy, and also to create cyber security and many other things. Now you are using the e-levy as the same purpose and explaining it away. But you have not told us what you did with the communication service tax of 5%. Again, there's Momo charges, 1% averagely. You get something from this one as well. Then there's the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy. It's levied on the profit before tax of specified companies, 5%. You get that one as well. Plus, if e-levy comes on, you get 1.5. And again, We are not just looking at these taxes. I'm looking at the MNOs, the telcos. They also import machinery into this country. They pay demurrage, they pay duties at the port and all of that. So when you tell the BBC of all media houses that that sector has not been taxed, that is not correct, Mr. President. Because I've just demonstrated to you that you have been getting all these monies. The question is, what have you been using all these monies for? Again, the mobile money, or if you like, the e-space, is just an enabler. It's a channel. It is not just a channel for a digitized industry. It's a channel that is a backbone for many industries. Today, a farmer will send Momo to buy, farm implements. A farmer would collect money from somebody he has sold something to. A farmer's son will send him money. Same with a doctor and a nurse relationship. Same with somebody within the security service. So you need to extrapolate those who are doing business within that sector and charge them. You don't need to lump all of us together because you say people are getting money out of it. Then quickly and show me the decline that we are getting within that space. There's a decline. Mobile growth 2018 was 13% of people over 15 years. They had mobile accounts. That was what Dr. Baumia was talking about. The financial inclusion, creating a bank account for everybody. When they was asked, he said mobile accounts are also bank accounts. Now 2021, 39% of people over 15 years had mobile accounts. Today, we are being told by the BNFT that it is declining. It is declining. This is it. Mobile money loses 10 billion Ghana cedis in value as E-levy implementation years. We have not even started. And that's the chart. And it's scary by the day. It is scary by the day, Mr. President. So don't go and say anywhere that Momo is an industry. It is not. Me, I'm not a factory. So you can't tax my Momo and call it an industry. It's unfair. It is so unfair, Mr. President. Now, I remember that in 2017, this was the team. I made this post on this day. I said, behind the scenes before Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta hits Parliament to present the 2017 budget statement, photo credit Evron Hughes. These are the people who were behind the scenes at the time. 2017. I thought that when Mr. Okoche put the question to you about Dr. John Kwache of the IEA's quote, and he said he's an expert, and you also mentioned that you had experts in your government, you would have quickly referred to some of these experts, and particularly the head of your economic management team, like you did in 2012, in 2016, and even in 2020, telling us that Dr. Baumia had worked at the Bank of Ghana and he knew where the money was and he had a magic wand to solve our problems. When the question had come for you to mention your experts to counter what Dr. John Kwache said, you couldn't mention any. You couldn't mention any, Mr. President. So this morning, I want to encourage you, Mr. President, make time to meet the press. When you meet the press, you are properly rehearsed locally, and then you can meet the global giants. Good morning.
Now you can be part of the extraordinary world of endless possibilities on Vodafone. With the best value and amazing data offers and services available in Ghana, your dreams are achievable. Get more for less with Vodafone data. Vodafone, further together.
Introducing the new Nutri-Day yogurt with zinc. Enjoy good nutrition and the great taste of Nutri-Day yogurt with vitamin A, B6, B12 and zinc. Nutri-Day. Goodness any day. This advert is FDA approved.
Wait a minute, yo! It's on my nephew! Wow, this place has changed, yo. Angela, look at you all grown up, yo.
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo.
Hey, sister, we did what Ponsano and Casa, just like I remember.
Uncle, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, never shrink one part.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Johnnie de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fie. It's delicious, yo.
This advert is FDA approved.
In the first 2 years, your baby will experience amazing growth in so many ways. To fuel it, they need the right nutrition. With Cerelac, 1 bowl of goodness a day provides the wholesomeness of carefully selected grains, the Iron Plus, which helps support brain development, and the yummy taste baby loves, assuring you the right nutrition in 1 bowl. Cerelac, it's all good, Mom.
This advert is FDA.
Kojak toothpaste, oh, Kojak toothpaste. Hello there, good people. I bring to you the Kojak news. Coming up are the headlines. For a whiter, strong teeth and fresher breath, all you need is Kojak toothpaste and a